Hey everybody, today is day 3 of the Intermittent Fasting Raw Food Challenge. Hope everybody's doing great. Hoping your mental clarity is there. That you're all jumping up and down with joy because raw food tastes so good and you love it. And your body is now getting used to intermittent fasting by this point in time. So hopefully you can develop a trend, and that's something that you can adopt even more raw food into your diet and more intermittent fasting into your regular routine going forward. That's kind of why this is just an introduction. It's a New Year's resolution, it's a challenge, but more or less it's an introduction to changing your lifestyle and eating more raw organic foods. That doesn't mean you need to completely change every single thing that you were doing in the past. But, little changes add up to big changes. And you're going to notice that at the end of the 14 days, you're going to be feeling a lot better. And probably you're going to look better as well. I mean, you'll probably lose some weight and your skin will look better. By the way, these yellow glasses, I know this is just out in another direction, but if you do have a computer and you're working in front of a computer, really look into getting yourself some of these gunner glasses. These block the harmful blue rays coming from your computer screen. So I try to wear these as much as I can. Today I'm going to answer some more questions. Keep your comments coming. That's what we're here for, to try to help you out as much as possible. If you're doing cleansing programs like colon cleanse or liver and gallbladder cleanses during the 14-day raw food intermittent fasting challenge, if you have any questions about those, feel free to write them in. Love to get your comments, love to look at the questions. I actually really do enjoy answering questions on a regular basis because it is so important, and people are constantly wanting to learn. That's just, to me, I always ask as many questions as I possibly can because I want to continue learning. I mean, it's something that we all should do in our personal life, in our relationships with friends, family, coworkers. Constantly learn. It's constant and never-ending improvement. So the first question is, does intermittent fasting burn fat? Well, anytime you're going to reduce the amount of food that you're putting in the system, hopefully everybody is doing a little bit of exercise at the same time. And that's going to be different for everybody. But yes, intermittent fasting does over a period of time burn fat. If you were to eat between 11 and 7, and by the way, I know there's been some questions about, can I change my eating times? Yes, you can. I mean, really I just came up with 11 to 7. But you're more than welcome to change those times if it fits your schedule. And that's really what you should do, is look at your schedule and see when are the times that this is going to work best for me, and kind of set those schedules that are going to work in your lifestyle and maybe with your family. I mean, I know a lot of people, and I'm a big believer of sitting down with meals for the family. And for me, in the morning, the kids are getting ready, they're going to school, it's kind of, chaotic. So, it's not really that big of a deal. We don't have a sit-down breakfast. So that's why that works good for me, is to just skip the breakfast meal. I like to go work out in the morning, I like to meditate in the morning, but feel free to change that schedule so it fits your lifestyle. Back to the burning fat. You will. I mean, obviously, if you're going to eat during your eating period and you're going to pig out on pizza and eat a carton of ice cream and eat a bunch of candy bars and stuff like that, I mean, you're probably not going to lose any weight. It's all about your choices in life, isn't it? I mean, everything is a choice that you have to make in life. Do I choose to go to bed at 8, or do I choose to go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning after I watch three more episodes of this series on Netflix? You know, do I choose to spend more time with the kids, or do I choose to go out to parties with my friends? I mean, you know, it's just like every single thing is a choice in life. And it's just about making more good choices than it is making bad choices. I mean, so that's why you can do the 80-20 rule, or you can do the 90-10 rule. 90% of the time you are making those good choices, 10% of the time you're not. Why is fasting so effective? Well, fasting's been used for thousands and thousands of years. It gives the body a break, really. It gives the body the ability to utilize its energy stores for healing and regeneration. That's the short answer, but that's the best answer that I can give on why it's so effective. What are the different variations of intermittent fasting? There's a lot of trending individuals, doctors, experts. I don't know if I would say experts, but there's a lot of YouTube videos coming up right now with people trying different things. The variations of intermittent fasting really is just how many hours a day do you want to fast? You can even do 23-1, which is you fast for 23 hours and then you have 1 hour every single day where you eat, and then you fast for another 23 hours. All kinds of different programs out there, that you can utilize if you have one good balanced meal a day. That would probably be just fine to do that, but that's something that you want to look at your own body, your own environment, any conditions you might be suffering from, or maybe you just want to slow the aging process down tremendously. So you might want to just do something like the 11-7, which we're doing now, or even do the 12-6, which is going to add 2 extra hours of fasting per day. I have noticed, because normally I do the 12-6, and now that I'm doing the 11-7, it is so much easier to do the 11-7. Just that extra hour from 11 to 12, and that extra hour at night, going from 7 p.m. back to 6 p.m., it really does make a difference. I mean, that's 2 hours of fasting I'm losing. But we just, as a culture and as a society, we like everything to be, we don't like to run around hungry all the time or have to deal with hunger pains or anything like that. But I tell you that water is an amazing substance, and that if you are hungry at all, if you just drink about 8 to 12 ounces of water, purified water, and just wait a little while, that will calm your appetite down. As a matter of fact, water has always been listed as one of the #1 appetite suppressants there are. So people that take these pills out there, or these weight loss pills with these appetite suppressants in it, I guarantee you a glass of water is going to work better than those appetite suppressant pills that people are taking out there. Can diabetics practice intermittent fasting? They can, of course. I always recommend that you monitor closely your blood glucose levels. Most likely with the intermittent fasting, the raw food diet that we're doing, it's not a ketogenic diet. It's more of just a lifestyle change. So there's so many different options out there for you. And then once you transition off of this, and you can start having like maybe some cooked and steamed vegetables and everything, and then maybe start limiting, for those meat eaters out there, start limiting your meat content to maybe 2 times a week, and then down to 1 time a week, and then maybe you can even make that step to become a vegetarian or a vegan, so you don't have to deal with all the negative effects and all the chemicals and toxins and all the meat products out there. Are there any negative effects of intermittent fasting? Not that I have researched or that I have seen. So everything that I've read has been very positive. I would say that if there are some people that when they change their diet up a little bit, you might have some healing crisis, or you might have a detox reaction, maybe headaches for a couple days, maybe some joint pain or swelling, or it's just the body's natural process. with any type of detoxification, a good change in dietary habits, which you're eating only pure, nutritious, raw vegetables, nuts, seeds, fruit, etc., your body is just in heaven, because your body wants that nutrition, that pure, live food that's just initiating your system to repair itself and to regenerate. So in that process, your body is also going to be pushing some of this toxic stuff out. And you might be going through a little bit of a detoxification syndrome, especially if you've decided to give up any caffeine. Caffeine has one of the hardest detoxification withdrawal symptoms there are, usually headaches, which can actually be pretty severe for 2 to 3 days. Not everybody suffers from that. I mean, as a matter of fact, probably 1 out of 10 that I've talked to have gone through that with caffeine withdrawals. And very rarely, we've been doing detoxification for 20 years. Very rarely do I even hear of somebody that goes through a severe Herxheimer reaction or a detoxification crisis when they're cleansing, or especially during intermittent fasting. So that would be maybe what I would not consider it a negative effect, because it's actually positive when you're feeling those things, because you should realize that this is your body telling you that you are toxic and that you need to be clean. And everybody has a self-healing mechanism, and that's how your self-healing mechanism is starting to build back up and support you. Does drinking alcohol affect my intermittent fasting progress? Well, alcohol is always going to affect your progress no matter what. I mean, alcohol is an endocrine disrupting chemical. It's a toxin to the body. It wreaks havoc on the liver. It wreaks havoc on the bowel. It kills off microbes in the bowel. If there is any alcohol, I can tell you I've had conversations. This is interesting, and this was I had never heard this before. Was talking with, I can't remember who it was, but it was some fasting expert that was, well, actually, it was Dr. Thomas Seyfried. I haven't posted this video yet, but I was doing an interview with him. He's been working as a professor at Boston College, and the guy is a genius when it comes to intermittent fasting, metabolic therapy, and he is a big proponent of the ketogenic diet. My problem with the ketogenic diet and most ketogenic diets out there is the fact that they allow meat and eggs and all kinds of other stuff in there. So, but he told me that he was doing studies on intermittent fasting and water-only fasting, and grapefruit juice, fresh grapefruit juice, and red wine and white, very high-quality champagne did not increase the glucose levels. I mean, in other words, it kept everybody in ketosis. That was very shocking to me, even though I know they're very low glycemic foods. And you can always look at different places and pick a bunch of low glycemic index foods. If you are intermittent fasting, I would recommend doing that anyway, because during your meal times, the least amount of bread, carbohydrates, corn, potato, all of that stuff you're going to consume, which none of that is really you're going to be consuming during the raw phase anyway. Looking into just reducing some of those after this would be a good idea. Alcohol will affect your intermittent fasting progress. I know a lot of people out there like to have that glass of wine or like to, drink some alcohol. My recommendation for anybody who's like that is to take some B vitamins, take some oxy powder every night that you drink alcohol, whether it's wine or whatever. And if you do drink hard alcohol, go to a gluten-free alcohol, maybe like a Tito's. People recommend Tito's vodka as a gluten-free option out there as well. So those are just some side notes that I've kind of learned in the last few years and few months and few weeks. Should I have a certain, this is a really good question. Should I have a certain number of calories during intermittent fasting? Well, the least amount of calories, the better. I mean, if you can keep your calorie content below 2,000, that would be, I mean, depending on what your goal is, if you want to lose weight, regardless, if you could keep your calorie content under 2,000 calories a day, that would be a good accomplishment. You know, the lower the caloric intake, the more healing you're going to get. It's a direct relationship to the healing process because calories are basically the expenditure or energy that it's going to take your body to break down those calories. So everything in your system works off of an energy scale basically. And that's why digestion takes the most amount of energy from the body. It can take up to or more than 100% of the energy produced by the body. So the least caloric intake, the better. And then the next question is, can I still exercise daily? Absolutely. Recommend getting as much exercise as you possibly can. It's only going to benefit you. It's going to speed up your metabolism. They're showing that exercise might actually have an effect on producing new stem cells in the body now. So whatever exercise you want to do, anything is great. Yoga, Pilates, short burst, high intensity exercise, walking, anything that you want to do, burpees. You can do a lot of exercise just from your home or your office. I mean, you can do jumping jacks. That's what I do. I'll take a break and do 50 jumping jacks. Do some push-ups. Do some sit-ups. Do some, just wall squats, or do some burpees or something. And, exercise is pretty easy to do anywhere you are. Essential oils during intermittent fasting, can I still put them in water? You can do whatever you want with essential oils. I mean, that's natural. It's they're not regulated to put in water or food for internal use only, although I completely disagree with that. I think they can be highly effective taken internally. So whatever you want to do with that is fine. It's probably only going to help you. So that's great. Can I eat only fruits during the day and no veggies? Yes, you can. You can eat fruits. There's been age-long documentation regarding people that just used to do just fruit fasts. As a matter of fact, there was a grape fast cure that was very popular in Europe and in America. It ended up starting in Europe with a lady who would give her clients nothing but grapes to eat all day long. And no matter what condition the clients came in with, that's all she gave them. It was called the grape fast. You can probably pull that information up online. And they would that's all they would do until they got better. And there was a doctor down in Florida years ago that was doing the orange juice cure. He called it the orange juice cure. And all he had his patients do was eat oranges and press and drink the juice of oranges. So he had them actually eat the oranges, which was good, which was the fiber part of it that they need, and then also had them drink the orange juice until they were healed. And he had some patients that just went 40, 50, 60 days on just nothing but oranges. And same with the grape. So yes, I mean, fruits are amazing because they're over like 90 to 90, 100%, well, not 100%, but over 90% water, and that water is already structured good water that you need inside your body. And fruits have oxygen, vitamins, minerals, nutrients, fiber. I mean, fruits have pretty much everything that you need. And when you eat fruits by themselves and you're not mixing sweet fruits with subacid fruits or acid fruits, then you do have all the natural enzymes in the fruits as well. People worry about the glucose levels and all that stuff spiking, but fruits are an amazing food, full of antioxidants, full of vitamins, full of power for your body. It's like fuel that goes into your body. Here's our gas tank. You know, we go to the car and we put the thing in and we fill our car up with gas and makes it run. This is our gas tank right here. What are you putting in there to make your body run? What does your engine need, and what does your body want? It does not want anything dead. I can tell you that, because there's no energy derived from dead foods or processed foods or microwave foods or anything else. What your body wants, if you look at the teeth, if you look at our body, I've studied it, I've tried to, look, I was a carnivore for years and years. I ate crappy. Okay, I can remember eating Salisbury steak dinners, TV dinners, when I was a kid. But what I'm saying is, I've done the research, and we do not have canine teeth to rip and chew flesh. We do not have a pipe-like digestive system like a carnivorous animal. We do not have the claws and the ability to, run super fast to kill our prey. We do not secrete hydrochloric acid in our mouth. I mean, it's very simple. If you just look at the way a carnivorous animal is made, and then you look at us, I mean, we're made to be vegetarian in nature. If you look at what happens when we consume meat, it drains energy from the body. Massive amounts, okay? It puts zero energy back into the body. What happens when we eat raw fruits and vegetables and stuff from the trees that are grown naturally? Like a seed puts massive amounts of energy into the body. Raw seeds, nuts, all that stuff. All that actually contributes to energy, the good energy that we need. So when we fill our tank with what our body needs to run, it needs to be with raw, good, healthy, organic, high energy superfoods and foods that our engine needs to run on. Thank you so much to everybody out there for supporting Global Healing Center. Thank you. Pat yourself on the back for doing this challenge. And until next time, I will see you later.